They don't pay us to think. They pay us to know. We know we can beat them. There's no excuses why we shouldn't. Win the game, period. W is on 3, man. Let's go. W on 3. 1, 2, 3. W.
He is good. All is well.
No, Darius. No. All is not well. Welcome, all my fellow Redskin brethren and sistren. I am your man and resident Redskins fan, Lou. Thank you for joining me here on a very somber Redskins report. Breaking news. For those of you who haven't heard, pretty much all of you should have by now. I'll be the bearer of bad news for those who haven't. DERRIUS GUICE has torn his ACL and will miss the entire 2018 NFL season. Our worst fears were confirmed. We sat right here just a mere 10 hours ago and talked about the severity of that injury, and we kind of downplayed it. I know I'm guilty as charged. I downplayed this injury, and look, I'll be the first to tell you, because a guy walks, and I saw that in the comment section last night a couple of times, and I'm like, that doesn't matter. When a guy gets up and walks, it doesn't mean he didn't tear his ACL. We watched Phillip Rivers play on a torn ACL in a playoff game, okay? Playoffs? Yeah, the playoffs against the Indianapolis Colts. We know guys can play and walk on an ACL that is torn. So the fact that he was walking doesn't mean anything. But what I perceived to be him joking and laughing with the trainers and chumming it up when they were testing out the structure of his knee, that said to me, everything's fine. Everything's fine. Players know when something is seriously wrong. And so I took that as, oh, he's fine. He knows that nothing is seriously wrong. And as you saw with the clip, he said that last night. So that put me more so at ease that everything was going to turn out okay. And then we get the report earlier from Ian Rappaport where I don't know why I even listened to this guy at this point until things are confirmed, but he said, hey, and he did throw in the caveat. I don't want to throw him under the bus. He did say, look, nothing has been confirmed, but the thought process here is that it's a MCL sprain and that it's a grade 1 and he'll be fine. But MRI results are still pending, so let's not jump to any conclusions. That wasn't the best news, but it wasn't the worst news. I was cool with the MCL sprain. Sit him down for a week. He'll play in the third preseason game, and we'll keep it moving. And then the bombshell dropped on our heads, and I feel like last year all over again. I mean, as a fan, I feel like there's no hope for the run game again. We're back to square one. Rob Kelly, Samaje Perine, and Chris Thompson when he comes back healthy, and that's it. I feel like we're back to where we were a season ago. All of the optimism that we had for the run game, gone in one fell swoop. Why can't we have nice things? What have we done to not deserve nice things? It's been like this for over a decade and some change. LeVar Arrington's career was cut short due to injuries and fallouts with the coaching staff. Oh, we all know about Sean Taylor's career being cut short because of a tragic situation and him being murdered in his own home. Chris Samuel's career was cut short because of a spinal situation. RG3's promising career cut down at the knees, literally. And now this. And this isn't as catastrophic as all the things that I've mentioned. He can come back and be the same guy that we thought he was going to be this year, next year. Just look at it as 2 second-round picks next season. But nobody wants to hear that right now. We were really looking forward to having a shot to be able to run the football in the division. You see Saquon Barkley do what he did last night with that one big run. You know what the Cowboys are capable of doing with their run game. And you say, we can have that. We get into the run game party with everybody else. And now we have to sit down again. And the worst part about this is that Alex Smith needs a run game. Contrary to anybody trying to tell you otherwise, Alex Smith needs the run game like we need air to breathe. And if he gets what we got last year out of the run game, we're going to stink offensively. You thought last year was bad. Wait till you see this offense this year with no run game. With Alex Smith at quarterback. For all you Kirk naysayers. You just wait. If the run game looks anything like it did last season with Alex Smith at quarterback, we are in trouble. So I'm dressed in all black like the Omen because this right now feels like a damn funeral for the 2018 season on the offensive side of the football if shit doesn't get turned around. Because we've seen the Rob Kelly story. We've seen the Samaje Perine movie. We didn't want to hit rewind on those. That's why we drafted a running back in the second round. Because Jay Gruden, as much as he talks these running backs up, he knows the truth, man. And I said this on the tweet that I made earlier. I said that Jay Gruden is going to have to do a hell of a coaching job this season. This is going to be the defining moment in Jay Gruden's career right here. Look, I know what he's going to say to the media already. I know Jay like a book. I know him like the back of my hand. Jay's going to come out and he's going to give us the obligatory, hey, we're really disappointed. You know, it's football. Injuries happen. We're really disappointed, though. We had big things planned for DERRIUS Guice. And he's going to say, next man up. That's what he's supposed to say. Behind closed doors, because there's nothing he can say to the fan base to change the way that we feel. There's not a single thing that he can say to us to make us feel any better about the situation. As a fan, we think we can't run the football now. We went right back to the feeling of not being able to run the football just like we felt last year. The feeling of not being able to do anything on the ground all came rushing back with the news of DERRIUS Guice's ACL tear. If you're a fan, you think it's no hope running the football this year. So there's nothing that Jay Gruden can say to us as fans. But what he can do and what he needs to do and what he better do is use this as a rallying cry in the locker room to galvanize the troops. And he better make those backs in the locker room feel like, hey, look, this is your time. You better step up. Here's your opportunity. Those guys need to step up. And I can tell you right now, and I don't want to speak for the entire fan base, so I'll just speak for myself. I have zero confidence in any of the backs other than Chris Thompson and their ability to run the football. In between the tackles, outside of the tackles, anything. I have zero confidence in any of those backs to be anything other than what they were last year, averaging around 3.4 yards a carry. So, it is what it is. DERRIUS Guice, done for the season. He had told all of his teammates that he thought he had hyperextended his knee. He thought that it was something minor, which is what prompted him to tell the CSN reporter that there's nothing wrong. All is well. So he thought, so we thought. All is not well, especially with the Redskins ground game without DERRIUS Guice. I'm going to take some of your comments, and then we'll get the hell out of here. I don't want to keep you here longer than you need to be, but obviously I know that you guys probably feel the same way that I do, that this is not a really cool situation to be in. And let me say this before I even get to any of the comments, and I'm only reading pertinent comments. If you think this is the last injury of the offseason, you're sadly mistaken, or the preseason. DERRIUS Guice is the first of many more major injuries to come during the preseason. The only hope that we can have as Redskins fans is that that's the last major one for us. Other teams are going to suffer the same type of feeling of hopelessness and distraught over losing a key player, one that they were going to count on. At least the Vikings had a chance to experience Dalvin Cook last year as a second-round pick. We can't say the same. They got a few games out of Dalvin Cook before he went down to an ACL tear. We didn't get that chance. We got a preseason game. But it's going to happen to other teams. Let's just hope, for our sake, the injury reaper is done inflicting infinite amounts of pain on us as fans. Because this one stings a lot. This one hurts. Okay? This one hurts a hell of a lot. The IR is out here putting dudes on the IR. And we got served up first. Let's hope that that was the first and the last for us this preseason. So let's get to some of your comments, man. RG3 hashtag says, hey, Adrian Peterson still out there, just called DeMarco Murray out of retirement. They're going to, look, I think they believe in the guys in the locker room, but I don't. And I hope that they're smart enough to understand what we have in that locker room and know that they need to do something. They need to do something. So, hey, look, man, we may have to call one of these aging veterans. You know, we may have to call one of these dudes up and say, hey, man, what you think about coming and play for the Redskins this year? I wouldn't mind calling up Adrian Peterson. I'm just being honest with you. I would not mind calling up AD at all. That sounds really good to me. I'm good on DeMarco Murray because when a guy says he doesn't want to play anymore, I'm pretty much in the mindset of he doesn't want to play anymore. When a guy calls it quits. Adrian still wants to play. And so I saw some things out of him last year that said, hey, he's not the same guy, but he's still got something left in the tank. So I wouldn't be opposed to that. But let's see. Gregory Lightbody says, do you think Guice can pull a Ben Simmons and win Rookie of the Year next year? I don't know, man. I'm not even thinking about that next year. You asking me to think about next year? I'm still distraught about today and this year. Can't think about next year right now. Be nice, though. The 20th Mike says, already feel like we lost this season, man. Running backs got to step it up, like my boy Robert Kelly and Chris Thompson. You probably echo the sentiments of most Redskin fans out there in saying that feel like we already lost the season. That's probably the way that 80% of the fan base feels, at least on the offensive side of the football. The diehards are going to say, hey, next man up. This isn't that big of a deal. You're sadly mistaken if you think this isn't a big deal. Because if you watched the run game last year, not much has changed. Okay, we're going to get guys back healthy, but we got the same tight ends blocking, and we got the same running backs in the backfield. If the same thing happens again, it's called insanity if you're expecting different results. It's insanity. So right now, as it's constructed, if they don't go out and make a move to acquire a running back, whether they hang back and wait for a guy that they think is talented to get released off of a roster, or if they don't go after one of these Asian veterans out on the streets right now, then you've got to assume that the same thing is going to take place that happened last year. The only difference is we may be using a fullback, and that may change some things, but I have zero hope for the guys in the backfield other than Chris Thompson. I'm sorry. That's just the way I feel. After watching what I watched last year and the little that I saw, and in fact, Robert Kelly is in great shape. He's in the best shape that we've seen him in a Redskins uniform. Still doesn't change the fact that he's still Robert Kelly. So I kind of feel the same way that you do, but I'm an optimist, so I'm going to say that we still have an outside shot at making something of it. Again, this is Jay Gruden's job to take this negative, turn it into a positive, and rally the troops. This is going to have to be his best coaching job, or else he may be out of a coaching job. Andrew Trigg says, it's about time to take that wine bottle to the head, man. That does not sound like a bad idea at this point. It really does not. Gregory Lightbody says, this puts Gruden in a bad situation because if he doesn't do good, he is gone. Like I said, he's going to have to rally the troops. I actually like that he's going to be put in a position where he has to do his best coaching job. We need that from him. I need to know that Jay can rally the troops here. Because if things go south, if guys are hanging their head, I need there to be one voice, one sound in that locker room, and I need it to be Jay Gruden. And then I need, after that meeting, after he gets everybody together and breaks the bad news to them and tells them the direction of this team, which is forward, I need everyone to be echoing that sentiment once they come out and people start sticking that mic in their face and talking about DERRIUS GUICE and the injury and what it means and the impact it's going to have on his team. I need to be hearing the same thing from 6-7 different players, which means the message got through and Jay was able to deliver a profound statement. If I hear guys talking about how disappointed they are and how this is going to be crippling to the offense, then Jay didn't do his job and this could have a rippling effect on the season. So we'll see what happens. I was too, Nick. Nick says he was really excited and wanted to see what DERRIUS GUICE is going to bring to the table. This is terrible news for us. It is indeed. SOL's Nation says, I'm pissed, as we all are as Redskins fans. FBG Tony says, this one hurts, bro. Hashtag no cap. But next man up, go Samaje, LOL. Now definitely Rob is making the roster. Laughing my ass off. We talked about that last night about the prospects of a guy like maybe Robert Kelly not making this roster. Samaje Perine was going to make this team as they drafted him last year. I don't think they were going to give up on him quite yet. But Robert Kelly was a guy that could have been on the chopping block with a healthy DERRIUS GUICE. That is not going to be the case now unless they bring someone else in from the outside and they still want to just keep 4 running backs on the roster. Oh, man. Stephen Gomez says, absolutely heartbroken. Welp. I remember last year we were hyped for Fat Rob and Perine duo of last year, but couldn't see it due to injuries. Now we will see how it plays out this year. I don't have any confidence, man. I don't have any confidence. I hope I'm wrong. I hope these dudes go and ball out, but I just don't see it, man. And if the Redskins thought it was just injuries up front that cost them a chance to run the football, then you don't spend a second-round pick on DERRIUS GUICE. Just and think about it. After a year of spending a pick on Samaje Perine in the 3rd round or 3rd or 4th round in a mid-round, you don't go and spend a second-round pick on another back unless you think you don't have the guy in the locker room at that point. So I think they know what's good too. SOL's Nation says, and they wonder why we don't go to games. Well, they couldn't control. they couldn't control this injury, man. Man. Stephen Gomez. Remember I talked about this, Stephen? Remember I talked about this last night? I said, I hope that 29 is not a curse for the last 29 running back that we had on this roster, and Roy Hulu Jr., who could not stay healthy. I said, please don't let him turn out like the last 29. I might have jinxed him my damn self. Jesus Christ. Chris Deaver says, I don't know what's left out there. I'd be a little worried before this happened. Thompson will get hurt again. He is just like our running back, Dunbar. I think I'm confident in Chris's ability to come back and be healthy. But Chris isn't an every down back. That's what we lack right now. A guy that you can give it to and have him tote the rock 15 to 25 times in any given game and be productive and not run for 3.2 yards a carry. Yeah, Champ Bailey. We can't have nice things, man. I don't know what it is, but the football gods won't allow us to enjoy nice things. And I don't know what we've done. What did we do? I don't know. I don't know what it is. No, we're not the new Browns. We're not the new Browns. And hell, the Browns might be looking at us like, don't speak us up. We got things going good right now. We feel good about our situation. Don't talk about us. Let's see. We'll take a couple more and then we'll get out of here. I don't want to make this video longer than it needs to be. Daddy Smoke Yam says, who do you see stepping up between Perine and Kelly, or do you suspect another dark horse candidate on the roster now? Well, this opens up. If they don't go out and address this outside of the roster, if they just like the backs that they have in their room, and I think right now, if you ask me, that's what they would do. I think Jay Gruden really likes the backs that they have. Now you're asking yourself, could this open up the door for a guy like Capri Bibbs or the guy that I talked about last night in Byron Marshall? Does this open up an opportunity for one of those guys to definitely make the roster and have a much bigger role than they were going to have initially? Right now, if you ask me, the guy that they're going to want to step up is Samaje Perine. And if you ask me, of the two, he's the guy that gives us the best shot in terms of being able to do something more than what we saw last year. I think I know who Rob Kelly is as a running back, and that's fine. Samaje, I think, has more upside than we saw last year, but he's got to hold on to the damn ball. If he keeps continuing to have issues with ball security, you can't put him in the game. Woody Land says, you couldn't have said it any better, Lou. No confidence in our main backs. That's why they drafted Guice in the second round. They didn't have much confidence in those guys either. So, yeah, Black L.A.B, man. That injury ripper, he's a son bitch, boy. I tell you. IR putting dudes on the IR, man. It's not fun. Not fun at all. Emperor Meach says, why don't you believe in P-Ron to be solid? P-Ron can be solid. I think P-Ron is solid, but what we need is not solid. We need dynamic. Solid is what we got last year behind a less than stellar offensive line because of the injuries. You put a less than stellar offensive line with less than desirable blocking tight ends, and then you put a solid back behind that, you're going to get below average results. That's what we got last year. So if we get a much improved offensive line, but still mediocre blocking tight ends with a average back, you're going to get either average or below average results again. So P-Ron is solid. As you mentioned, I'm not saying P-Ron isn't solid. He's just not dynamic. He's not extraordinary. We were looking for extraordinary. The guy that when the players only block for 2 yards, they can get 4. There's a huge difference between 2nd and 8 and 2nd and 6. Or the guy that when a play's blocked for 5 can get you 9. There's a big difference between 3rd and 1 and 3rd and 5. Huge difference. Massive. So that's what I'm referencing. The guy that can do extra, the guy that can do more. Those guys that we have right now, they don't do more. You block a play for 2, they get 2. HTTR Chris 27 says, of course we wait for the final cuts, but with 9 picks next year, calling around for a Latavius Murray type back is a must considering the backs we currently have. I'm not even that big of a Latavius Murray fan, but he's better than anything we have on our roster right now. So I at this point, just about anything that we could come up with in terms of a solution with an outside back would probably be better than anything we have currently on the roster. I'll check Twitter right quick just to make sure that there isn't any comments on Twitter that I may be missing. I don't want to overlook anything on Twitter, but yeah, this is a rough one for Redskins fans, man. This is a tough blow. But if anybody is used to disappointment, it's us. As sad as that sounds, it's us. So we should be used to being able to put things like this in its proper perspective and keep it moving. So we'll see. Take a couple more comments, and then, like I said, we'll get out of here, man. Jaden Dolphemeyer says, do you think Guice will be the same next year, or will his injury linger like Robert Griffin III's? I have more confidence with ACLs than I used to. With Robert Griffin III, it was not only the injury, but it was also his mindset after the injury. He came back a different dude mentally, thinking that he shouldn't be running the ball, and let his dad talk him into being a pocket passer before he was ready to do so. So it was more than just the injury itself with Robert. He wasn't the same guy mentally. He was ready to do anything when he first came into the league, and the injury changed his mindset as to what he should be asked to do as a quarterback. As far as Guice is concerned, we've seen guys bounce back. Adrian Peterson, and I don't want to compare him to Guice to Peterson. We're talking about a Hall of Fame legendary back at Adrian Peterson, but Adrian Peterson tore his ACL, came back the next year and ran for 2,000 yards. So I don't have any doubts that Guice can bounce back from this. It's just disheartening in the moment. Let's keep it moving. Daddy Smoke Yam says the Skins' first-round picks have been hurt in the rookie season the past 3 years. Well, this isn't a first-round pick, so I don't want to speak that on our first-round pick this year, even though he's already sustained an ankle injury. Let's just hope that he doesn't sustain anything serious. This is a second-round pick, but yeah, I already told you, our second-round picks have been jinxed. I said we got to do a better job of picking in the second round. This doesn't make me think any less of DERRIUS GUICE as a football player, nor do I blame them for pulling the trigger on him in the second round. But if you go back a couple of years to Sua Cravens, to Ryan Anderson last year, to now DERRIUS GUICE, we've gotten nothing out of our second-round picks over the last 4 years or so. I mean, it's been a really disappointing haul in the second round, going all the way back to a guy that's no longer on the roster in Trent Murphy. So, I mean, we haven't maximized the second round. And the second round is like a first-round pick. You can't miss on your second-round pick, and we have consistently whiffed in the second round. And I'm not saying Guice is a whiff, but still getting nothing out of a second-round pick, that's going to definitely hurt us this year. See, I'll take one or two more. All right, so that's it, man. Let's get the hell out of here. So that's it, man. No DERRIUS GUICE in 2018 as he sustained an ACL tear, and I have no confidence in the run game right now until further notice, until the Redskins make some sort of a move. If Jay Gruden is going to come out and profess to me and everybody else in the fan base that he loves the guys in the locker room and in that running back room and he has confidence in them, and they don't make a move, we are doomed in the run game, which spells trouble for Alex Smith because he himself needs the run game as well, just as bad as the offense needs balance. And so he's not Kirk Cousins. He's not going to be able to put this team on his back and throw for 4,000, damn near 5,000 yards without the aid of a run game. So if we're going to be struggling in that department, the defense better be damn good this year or we're going to get our ass whooped. We got some of the best quarterbacks in the league on our schedule this year. If you haven't checked the schedule, I advise you to check that shit out, okay? This is not the year to not be able to run the football. Because if you put Drew Brees, Andrew Luck, Aaron Rodgers consistently back on the football field, they are going to carve our ass up. This shit stings, man. It really does. But I am a Redskin fan, etched in burgundy and gold. My Redskin spirit will never die. Redskin spirit will never, ever fold. Until we meet again, hail to our beloved Washington Redskins. Damn, this was a really, really detrimental blow to the 2018 season. It all is not lost, but boy, does it feel like it today. We got a bunch of football left ahead of us, and who knows? This could be the turning point in our season, and we rally behind this injury like the Rams did in '99 behind the injury of Trent Green to go on and win the Super Bowl. Why can't that be us? Because we're the Redskins, right? I'm your man, Louie T. I'm out of here, man. You guys, take care.
Louie.